Now you will notice previously in the course I have problematized the idea of Hindu sects. To be a little bit provocative, even though some scholars who are more senior seem to rely upon the term, we will ask the question, why are there no Hindu sects within quotes? The answer to this, to give you a little bit of a preview, will be because there are better ways to translate the concepts of the various schools of Hinduism. You have heard me use the term schools before, and we'll even brush up that concept a little bit to begin to talk about different streams of Hinduism as well. To begin with here, let us first consider the actual definition of, quote, sect or sectarianism. First, a sect, within quotes, is a group of people of somewhat different religious beliefs, typically regarded as heretical from those of a larger group to which they belong. So, notice the sort of accusational tone there. And then the second definition here, a dissenting or schismatic religious body, especially one regarded as extreme or heretical. So this is a particularly accusational tone. So if we think about this, the Vaishnava and the Shaiva schools that we have discussed so far aren't exactly accusing one another of heresy, right? So this is why the use of the term sect and sectarianism is a little bit problematic, to say the least. Furthermore, within Hindu traditions, a sampradaya can be translated as a tradition, a spiritual lineage, a religious system. We actually have specific definitions for this Sanskrit term sampradaya, which include the following: an unbroken disciplic successive line transmitted from a guru to a disciple. Mantra is only effective when received from a bona fide sampradaya, of which there are four: Brahma, Shri, Ruja, and Sanaka. This is from a glossary page from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So according to the Gita, you have four specific schools or lineages or traditions here. Now, also from the Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita, you have a line of disciplic succession, not specified to just four, so you could expand upon it a bit. Additionally, from a Sanskrit English dictionary, you have the definition, traditional doctrine, what has been transmitted from one teacher to another and is established as of sacred authority. And also from the Monier-Williams Sanskrit English Dictionary, particularly prominent colonial era dictionary, from the term samprada, which is a bestower, a presenter. So here you see why I have leaned into the particular definition of sampradaya as lineages or schools, as a more easy way to understand these different forms of Hinduism. However, there are also more contemporary scholars who are leaning more towards the usage of the term streams, because streams can overlap and intersect with one another. Indeed, I'm putting up an image here from the Hare Krishna movement, which individuals may be familiar with, this sort of chanting of Hare Krishnas. But the Hare Krishna movement specifically asserts that it belongs to the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So a very specific school or very specific stream. A sampradaya is a body of practice, views, attitudes, which are transmitted, redefined, and reviewed by each successive generation of practitioners within the stream. Participation in a sampradaya forces continuity with the past or tradition in a form of practice, but at the same time provides a platform for change from within the community of practitioners of this particular group. So you have continuity emphasized here, as well as if you recall, initiation and then justification and purpose. A particular guru lineage, a guru shishya, is a tradition called parampara. And this tradition may have its own akaras and gurukulas. By receiving diksha, this initiation, into a parampara of a living guru, one belongs to its proper sampradaya. One cannot become a member by birth, by jati, as is the case with gotra, a seminal or hereditary dynasty, right? So if you're born into a kshatriya or a brahma varna, you might be able to join a sort of hereditary dynasty of sorts, right? But in this case, you have to have an initiation. Membership in a sampradaya not only lends a level of authority to one's claims on truth in Hindu traditional context, but also allows one to make one of those claims in the first place. So without membership in a sampradaya, you cannot make those claims. An often quoted verse from the Padma Purana, this is a Puranic text, states that mantras which are not received from a sampradaya are considered fruitless. So that's according to Puranic Hinduism. And another verse states that unless one is initiated by a bona fide spiritual master or guru in a disciplic succession, the mantra he or she or they might have received is without any effect. So you can see how there's initiation here, but there's also an assertion of justification and purpose from the Puranic period onward. Now, as we look more deeply into this concept of sampradayas, you're going to notice that we have Vaishnavism and Shaivism as sampradayas, two major streams of sampradayas that we have already examined. There's also Smartism, as particularly sort of exemplified by the Advaita Vedanta, this school that you have already been exposed to within Smartism. That's one particular school, but you have examples from Advaita Vedanta. And then also Shaktism. And Shaktism we're going to get a little bit more deeply into in contrast with Smartism and Advaita Vedanta here throughout the week.